What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously here once again. I am back to do my 2017 Stanley Cup Playoffs, Eastern and Western Conference Finals predictions. Now, of course, we are down to the final four teams for the quest for the Cup. 4 teams looking to become the final 2 teams in the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, of course, my record finishing up the second round was not great, and I will have to admit, my second round predictions were not great. My record was 1-3. So I only got 1 win in the second round with, of course, Ottawa. But 3 losses. We are now 5-7. We definitely need a bounce back. We definitely need a bounce back in these next 3 games. Stanley Cup and these 2 Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Definitely we need a bounce back. I can maybe go 7-7. Hopefully go 7-7. So again, we did not have a great second round for sure, but there's always room for improvement. Now, of course, with these 4 teams, 3 of them have won the Stanley Cup before: Anaheim, Pittsburgh, and Ottawa. Now, of course, only the wild card team, of course, Nashville's never won it in their franchise history. Now, before I start, I do want to thank everybody who did watch my second round predictions. Of course, it hit 500 views. So again, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys so very much for getting that video to 500 views. Of course, you guys super kicked that like button 11 times. So again, thank you so very much for making that, hitting that like button. Of course, always supporting the channel. Of course, we had 18 comments. Of course, from you guys, making your predictions, making your claim, representing your guys' team in these playoffs. Again, those are always welcome on this channel. Hope you guys can definitely do it in this video for sure. Now, of course, channel update. My NBA conference final predictions will be up maybe on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So one of those 3 days, I will have my NBA conference finals predictions for sure. So if you're NBA fans, watch my videos. That's the next date I'll have them. Now, that going into that week, Tuesday night I'll have my Backlash predictions up, of course, for SmackDown, and of course Wednesday night I'll have my NXT TakeOver Chicago predictions up. So there's a lot of videos in May this year, I know, on this channel. Of course, I do want to thank everybody who has been watching my Ring of Honor War of the Worlds predictions. It's up on the channel. Of course, I will have that at the end of the video, and of course, my Best of the Super Juniors. If you're New Japan Pro Wrestling fans like myself, I will also put that at the end video. Now, of course, June is going to be jam-packed with predictions. Of course, 2 New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-views, 2 WWE pay-per-views, a Ring of Honor pay-per-view predictions, and the finals and the Stanley Cup. There's going to be a lot of videos, so I hope you guys continue what you guys did in May for my channel. Of course, watching all those videos in May, and I know there was a lot. So again, keep this channel going. I want to put out as much as I can, not put as much out as I can, but put as much quality content as I can. And of course, hope you guys can easily you guys can continue that support in the month of June. Other than that, let me quit rambling on. Let's get right into these conference final predictions. Now, of course, I'm going to start in the Eastern Conference. Of course, it is the Ottawa Senators versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, of course, this is the 5th playoff matchup between these 2 in the playoffs before, with Pittsburgh leading the playoff series 3-1. Which, of course, Ottawa's last win against Pittsburgh in the playoffs was the last time they were there in the conference finals, which was 10 years ago, the 2007 conference quarterfinals. Of course, that was the same year that they got to the Stanley Cup, which of course they lost to the Anaheim Ducks. So Ottawa being back here for the first time in 10 years, trying to win their 7th Stanley Cup, which their last Stanley Cup was, of course, 1927. So Ottawa's been waiting a long time. Of course, they finished up the Rangers in 6 at Madison Square Garden on yesterday, of course. So they definitely damn sure deserve to be here in these Eastern Conference Finals. Of course, when you have Erik Karlsson, definitely Norris Trophy winner. I wouldn't be surprised. No offense to Brett Burns from San Jose or Victor Hedman in Tampa. I think Karlsson has done a lot more. Karlsson with 1 goal and 10 assists. Bobby Ryan with 4 goals, 4 assists. Of course, Derek Broussard, 3 goals, 6 assists. Jean-Gabriel Bagot, who had a 4-goal game, I think in Game 4 or Game 5. I think it was Game 4. He had a 4-goal game. and he has 6 goals in this playoff season. And of course, Kyle Turris, 3 goals, 3 assists, and of course their goaltender Craig Anderson, the Hamburglar himself, with a pretty solid 8-4 record and 1 shutout. So Ottawa is looking to win the Stanley Cup, trying to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals since 2007. They have a great team, and then you have the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now let me say something before I get to the Pittsburgh. I want to say something about the Washington Capitals. Now, you know what happens when you have the best record in the NHL for the 3rd straight year in the Eastern Conference, and you choke in the playoffs again? You know what happens when you have all these great players like Kuznetsov, Oshie, Shatterkirk, which you guys got in a trade with the St. Louis Blues, Kucherov, Backstrom, Holtby. You know what happened? And you fail to even get back to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they haven't been in the Eastern Conference Finals since 1998. Think about that. You know what happens when you just have all this talent and you're just wasting it in the playoffs? You know what happens watching the Capitals? You just made the list. I had to bring this back because, I was watching that Game 7 game on NBCSN. They had to make the list for this. The team, it's like they work so hard to have a great winning record in the regular season. They just kind of fell flat in the postseason. Yes, they beat Toronto, but they couldn't even get past their own rivals again. It's like they got their backs broken again by Bane, and the Capitals are Batman. They're getting their backs broken twice again. They have not got there since 1998. And let me just say this about Barry Trotz. Barry Trotz, coach.
I just thought I'd give you some news. You're fired.
He has to go. Barry Trotz has to leave. Has to be fired. This is happening too much in Washington with this team with Barry Trotz. Barry Trotz is a good coach, but he's not doing it here. He's a good coach, but he is not doing it here. He's got President's trophies. Yeah, you got President's trophies, but when you don't have the cup, it doesn't mean anything. And then with Alexander Ovechkin, Ovechkin, you better start thinking of your options. You've been there for 12 years. You haven't got past the conference, the second round. The whole team hasn't got back. They haven't been there again. They haven't been there since '98, the Eastern Conference Finals. Ovechkin, next year is going to be your 13th year. You better start thinking of going to a team that's actually going to get you to either the Eastern Conference Finals or the Western Conference Finals. Start thinking of your options, Ovechkin. I'm telling you. Other than that, let me digress. Let's talk about the Penguins. Of course, the reigning champions, looking to repeat as Stanley Cup champions. It's been a while since then. We haven't seen a team repeat as Stanley Cup champions since I think maybe the Red Wings or the Canadiens. I think the Red Wings. I think the last time the Red Wings are the last team. I think the Red Wings are the last team to actually repeat. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Of course, Pittsburgh looked good. They finished up the Capitals. Sid Crosby, 4 goals, 10 assists. Evgeny Malkin, 5 goals, 13 assists. Assist king right there. Phil Kessel, 5 goals, 8 assists. Jake Granunzel, 3 goals, 6 assists. Patrick Hornquist, 4 goals, 3 assists. Justin Schultz, 2 goals, 6 assists. And of course, their goalie, which is not their goalie in the regular season, he was the backup. But the backup actually won, I think, 2 of their 4 Stanley Cup championships. Of course, that's Marc-Andre Fleury with the same record as Craig Anderson, an 8-4 record with, of course, 1 shutout. So this is a great Eastern Conference Finals for sure. This is a great matchup. So coming from me, again, I'm going to hate to even do this because I despise the Penguins after what they did to my Sharks last season in the Stanley Cup Finals. But I just think with this kind of talent, I am taking the Pittsburgh Penguins to get to beat the Ottawa Senators to get to the Stanley Cup Finals again. So again, Ottawa's a great team, but Pittsburgh, look at that team. No offense to the talent Ottawa has, but Pittsburgh, whoever won that series was coming from me, the front runner to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. No offense to Ottawa, but I thought Pittsburgh or Washington was one of the 2 teams that could definitely get to the Stanley Cup Finals. And with Pittsburgh winning, I got to go with Pittsburgh in this one, so I'm taking Pittsburgh to beat Ottawa in the Eastern Conference Finals and head back to the Stanley Cup Finals. And now the Western Conference Finals. Of course, it's the wild card team. Case in point, my Joker's Wild t-shirt. The Nashville Predators against, of course, a Pacific rival, of course, the Anaheim Ducks. Now, of course, the Nashville Predators are making their first conference finals in franchise's history. So, again, take it from me as a Sharks fan. Getting to the Western Conference Finals is great, but sorry about that. Of course, Nashville making their first, like I said, as a Sharks fan, getting to the Western Conference Final is fantastic, but getting to the Stanley Cup is even better. So again, soak it in, Nashville Predators fans. So Nashville, soak it in, because you're 4 wins away from getting to your first Stanley Cup championship in franchise history. Take it from us. We got there last year. Of course, this is the third playoff meeting between these two, of course, with Nashville leading the series 2-0. And Nashville's last win was last season over the Ducks in 7 games. Now, of course, Nashville knocked off the Blackhawks and the Blues to get here. So that is a pretty damn impressive resume to get here. And they damn sure deserve to be here. Again, they're never an easy team to play. Never. When you got Ryan Ellis, 4 goals, 5 assists. Ryan Johansson, 2 goals, 7 assists. Philip Forsberg, 3 goals, 5 assists. PK Subban, a goal and 6 assists. Roman Yoshi, 4 goals, 4 assists. And of course, their goaltender and maybe the best record in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. Of course, an 8-2 record with a goal against average of 1.37. So Nashville is a legit threat in this. Of course, they are a wild card team. I'm wearing the Joker's Wild t-shirt. Makes sense that they deserve to be here, for sure. They damn sure deserve to be here as a wild card, and makes the whole Western Conference Finals more interesting. And then you have the Anaheim Ducks, who did beat the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, one of my subscribers, that Ducks guy 97's got to be happy. His Ducks are back in the Western Conference Finals, so I got to say congratulations to you, my friend. Again, that's coming from a Sharks fan. I know that does sting to say that, but again, congrats that Ducks guy 97, one of my subscribers who's a Ducks fan. Congrats for getting to the Western Conference Finals, and best of luck. Now, of course, the Anaheim trying to win their second trying to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals since 2007. I mean, and that was their lone Stanley Cup championship. They're trying to win their second. You got talent on Anaheim. They've always been a great team. I mean, Getzlaf, Biesca, Shea Theodore, Corey Perry, Nick Thompson, John Gibson, goaltending. You got talent around in Anaheim for sure. So, and this one's a very tough matchup. This is a very tough matchup. So coming from me, and I usually don't do this, but coming from me, I'm going to go with the Anaheim Ducks to win the Western Conference Final matchup against the Nashville. I think Nashville's a great team, but I think experience wins. Usually experience wins. So, and the Ducks have experienced players that have been here before. They know what they're doing. Nashville's a great team. They'll definitely be a legit threat every year in the playoffs if they're always in it. So coming from me, I have to pick them. I'm going to go with the Anaheim Ducks to beat the Nashville Predators. So my Stanley Cup Finals is the Anaheim Ducks in the Western Conference versus the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Eastern Conference. The Battle of the Birds. And those are my conference final predictions. I hope you guys did enjoy my conference final predictions. Comment below, who do you have winning these 2 games? Represent your teams in the comments. If they're still in it, represent them. If they're not, still represent them. Hey, if my picks are different than yours, comment below. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm always on to see your comment. Of course, liking it, and of course, thumbs up in it, and of course, replying right back to you, because comments on this channel are always welcome. Now, of course, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching. Of course, before you leave, you can never forget to that like button, comment, share it with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button. Super kick that like button as only you guys can, of course. And you can never forget to that subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous alliance. And I will see you hopefully this weekend for my NBA playoffs conference final predictions. Later days, and peace.